Hey everybody, welcome to G4G here on YouTube. Today we have a surprising content video. This is not one that I was expecting to do, and this came up somewhat recently, and I wanted to go ahead and tackle this subject because I don't know how many people have noticed this, and to be honest, it is a little bit concerning. So back several days ago, somebody posted on one of my videos about 19 hours ago. Lamp on said, guys, Kingfisher745 videos went private. Now, admittedly, I have not looked at Kingfisher's videos for some time. Generally, when I have gone over to his videos, I go over to the one where his offense on video fought my defense of Molly and Luke Cage. Kingfisher did win, but there were a couple times in the video where he admitted that my defense scared him a little bit, but his agent got extremely lucky and was able to do a considerable amount of damage to my own team with some lucky procs, so he definitely won. By the way, what is up on the screen here is an old video of mine that I did back in December 26th of 2013. This was known as the Doom Christmas, for those who don't remember it. And as a matter of fact, 2013, if I remember this one correctly, I was very, very much not in the Christmas spirit for this one. This was the first year that I was at a particular job that I had, and I had to come back to work the day after Christmas. There was like a mini project going on at my job, and they were not allowing anybody to telecommute. They were not really giving out vacations, and I got out to the coast of North Carolina, about 2 hours away, to spend some Christmas with my parents the day before Christmas Eve. And I basically celebrated Christmas on Christmas Eve, and then had a little bit of Christmas Day, and then had a trek back 2 hours to where I live to be back at work on December 26th, and it was a fucking infuriating winter. Absolutely hated that one. However, this was the Christmas of Doom. So, I've always been rather candid in saying that Kingfisher's "The Thing is Invincible in PvP" video is the one that really made me decide to begin working on thinking about teams within Marvel Avengers Alliance. It's sort of what unlocked that side of my brain within MAA that was basically shelved when I really stopped doing things with Magic the Gathering. Now, one of the things I like doing about MTG was designing card decks. I'm not saying they were ever really going to be that good. I never went anywhere with them. I didn't do tournaments. I did not do Friday Night Magics and everything. But I liked the mental idea of going, hey, I bet you this card, and this card could work together, and then I can pull that card, and I can do this and do that. It was just simply fun to me to design a deck, even if I didn't get to run it that often. Believe it or not, this may sound ridiculously stupid, because, like, who plays chess with each other, themselves, that is. I would often run decks against each other in Magic just to see the randomization of it and how I could pull cards out. So I saw the Kingfisher video of Thing is Invincible in PvP, where he paired up Thing with Black Bolt, and he did say that he intended it to be a video about Black Bolt, and then he realized that with Ambient Particles and the Future Foundation outfit and Stonewall, that Thing just became ridiculously tough to kill unless he was up against a really rough blaster who maybe had Shield Breaker. So the big key of it was Emerald Prism. The Emerald Prism basically said, okay, every time Thing is attacked, every time he attacks, his attack goes up. Every time he gets hit, his defense goes up, which goes into Tough Guy, which goes into Ambient Particles. So basically, he has this Big Mac triple stack of fucking crazy defense going on. And because of the extra turn from Payback, he often could build up a reasonable attack from Thing too. Now, pretty much this is the only love that Thing really ever got in Marvel Avengers Alliance, aside from Antidote Deer. Really, really liking him. And we used to have this running joke where that one Hellcarrier episode, Antidote was doing like a spotlight on, and he did it on the Thing. And he was like, oh, I really like the Thing. And like a bunch of us that heard that Hellcarrier episode just kind of looked at each other like, what? And it became this running joke. No offense, Antidote, if you happen to still be catching these videos. It was just surprising because it's essentially like saying, this hunk of clay over here is amazing. Well, what does it do? I don't know. It's a pet rock. It just sits there and pees on the carpet. But anyway, that credit always where it's due. That was the video from me that really sparked my interest in doing videos, and one of the first serious ones that I did that involved thinking a little bit. It wasn't just slapping together the best gear that I had or the best tunes that I had, but one that actually tried to stick with a theme and go with it was this team that I called the Killing Joke. Not in relation to the, obviously, the Joker and Batman comic, but the fact that this was kind of a joke team. It's slow to start and everything. It has mild killing power, but it was based on the Power Cell, which is here, the Void Shield, which protects the team, and then the Agent goes on offense the round where I don't do this. You'll notice these two are on cooldown. So the Cell and the Void Generator go out in a round, and then Sudden Support and the Tyrant Blade go out on the round for a heavy hit and hopefully a follow-up proc. This was my sort of homage to Kingfisher's video. And as you can see, this is very, very, very old at this point. I linked his video in the description to give him credit and to back up a comment that was said. Surprisingly, it's not saying it right now, but it did say just a little bit ago, like, this video is not available. Well, I went ahead and looked for Kingfisher Online, which is actually how I encountered this video. I had forgotten that I even did it, but when I searched for Kingfisher745, it came up as the second hit, which is maybe why it has as many views as it does. And then a funny thing happened. I noticed this Kingfisher down over here, which seems to be, I guess, Algumen. I see that a lot. Obviously, it's Latin American. I do believe it could be Portuguese. I see all. I think Algumen means all in Portuguese. But anyway, I noticed this one, which is one of his old logos, and I'm like, man, that is a fucking joke-ass ripoff over there. No content, couple of likes, did seem to like Marvel games at one point in time, obviously, because he's ripping off Kingfisher's logo, and he liked this YouTuber named Play Gamer who has Adventures Alliance Tactics over here, which was Mott, and Mott was a travesty of a game. Fucking hated it. I encountered this one over here.
Agents.
So this is basically, if you don't remember this, this is...
Here we go. I'll see you on the other side, agents.
Kingfisher's voice cracking as he was saying goodbye to the game in one of the last days that it was up, and somebody did like a little bit of a reaction to Kingfisher signing off. But both of his channels, and maybe not everybody remembers this, Kingfisher did a second channel to kind of siphon off some of his non-MAA content, which was like Hearthstone unboxing. You can see here he's got some Minecraft, he's got Marvel stuff, and I don't know what this right one is, maybe Dead Trigger or something, but he has liked videos over here, and he likes this one by Michael Luessa, or I don't want to say loser because I don't think it's right. This Michael was a fan of mine on Twitch. I haven't heard from him in a while, and I'm a little sad because that is somebody that I would like to knows that the game is coming back. He also has this one here, which is official Playdom trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy hitting MAA, and it was really, really well done. I love the action shots of the Guardians of the Galaxy in this one. Although you see Gamora attacking an infiltrator, you see Groot attacking a blaster. Yeah, this is official. I really, really like this trailer. I don't think I ever saw it at the time, but the end of it over here, facebook.com Avengers Alliance, you can tell this is official because it goes to a page that doesn't exist anymore, which was the actual game on Facebook, so we know that that's official. If we go to his playlists, everything has gone unavailable. Not deleted, but
why is there stigma?
Essentially private. And if we look at his main account, the same thing has happened over here. He has no videos. His playlists have all gone blank except for one.
Have you got on
called Cooking, which obviously that is not Kingfisher. I think Kingfisher would have had a hell of a voice changer if that was him. Even though people did say they thought Kingfisher was always speaking through a voice changer because of the rather monotone nature of it. But if we look, we know he was around to a certain point because World of Warcraft Legion is listed here. Now, World of Warcraft Legion is not the current expansion. It is one back, and it's fairly high up his list over here. So he was around in at least 2016, and we could also see that here from Marvel Heroes 2016 Let's Play, Marvel Madness. And I would say certainly well into the fact that we knew Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux was happening, which was 2018 and 2019. He has been around, and I would think that his videos were up in the very least at 2018, because that's where I went looking for the Molly video. And he's got a few things here in his channels. If we look at his about and follow him over to, so the only link here that I've gone to is Twitch TV, and he does have no video saved on his Twitch. He is following 24 people, and he has 558 people following him. No clips, no events. His following sort of concerns me a little bit, and I kind of just want to point a few of these out. Simpson Bear, if I remember correctly, is a little on the thoughty side, and I'm not too sure if K Bubbles is. There is a Bubbles out there who routinely shows up in videos that are basically guys pointing out like some of these booby streamers on Twitch and what they get away with and everything. I don't think it is K Bubbles, but it's somebody with bubbles in the name. Simpson Bear's name sounds familiar. Lyrics sounds obviously very familiar. Dear Nadia sounds familiar too. And some of these other names I don't particularly recognize, but here's the Hellcarrier, which is cool. So there seems to have been no activity on his Twitch either, and the last thing we have is a splash screen of Marvel Avengers Alliance podcast channel. Now let's see if we've got anything going on over here from Facebook and Twitter. Now I do have him on Facebook, and I've had him here for quite a while. Looks fairly... Oh, this was old. Okay, so this is an old link. He was this, and then he had to change his name on Facebook. See, there's Antidote, Agent Antidote. Yeah, I vaguely remember that, where he was going by Kingfisher for a while on Facebook, and then I think he had a kind of like a a rights issue or maybe a copyrights issue where he changed it and he abandoned that one. And now what I have him on Facebook is his actual real name. Let's see if he's got any activity on Twitter. AJ the Kingfisher retweeted February 6th. Okay, so at least as of February 3rd of this year and February 16th of this year, he's done some stuff. And Arcade 1-Up, of course, is Twig's group that he's been running for a while as a fan group of the Arcade 1-Up home cabinets. So he's talking about Humble Bundle back in June and July of 2018. He's played HQ Trivia. He seems to have some Billy Graham stuff. And he's been talking about football. Man, Billy Graham stuff admittedly scares me a little bit. But AJ the Kingfisher, I can't recall what Kingfisher's real name is. I thought it was like John something. So at least in the beginning of 2018 and not too long ago, we have some definite Kingfisher sightings. So hopefully this isn't a sign that potentially he is removing himself from social media or something like that. Yeah, it is a little concerning, and I wonder if anybody's been in contact with him lately to know that, of course, he's still okay. So going here in the video, I basically lost to a team of Agent and Doomed. It came down to Doom and my Agent, and Doom won next to Ring Imperial. This was Psylocke and Havoc, and I do wind up winning this one. So this was fun because I didn't have the Emerald Prism at the time. I basically tried to build a team around shielding Thing and keeping him alive. And also the Void Generator, anytime the shield goes up, it purges your debuffs. And it puts a shield on you that when you get attacked, somebody attacking you gets one of their buffs removed. So it was like a poor man. You know how Kingfisher did poor man's PvP, where he's like, okay, we're going to do stuff that doesn't involve gold or paying and just stuff you can farm. This was like a poor man's Kingfisher. It's like, okay, I'm not good enough to be Kingfisher or have his gear. This is how I'm going to accomplish it. So that's what I'm doing here. And at this section of the video, I changed it up and I put in Phoenix. And I believe the first match out over here with Phoenix, she just gets absolutely demolished thanks to Mockingbird. But one of the main reasons why I am having this video run in the background over here is once MAAR or Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux comes out, this kind of team and gear and everything is what you're going to see. These are some of the early characters that would be showing in PvP, and the dev team are building teams based on what they saw at the time, gear that was being used at the time. So this winds up being helpful to that team because they kind of see what everybody was running then. And God, did I hate Ares at that point in time. That crush your enemies and the stun that went out for it. Ares was one of those. The Horn of Wisdom. Good Lord. See, look at those stuns over there. But see, now here's Things doing his job, and he's protecting well. And Mind Link also forces Thing to tank. So Mind Link was good when you... of course, I didn't get the stun. Mind Link is good for when you wanted somebody to tank who really doesn't have a way of tanking by taunting. But it is also good to use on an existing tank because he's going to tank anyway. And he gets, you know, buff stats and everything. Icing Up. There it is, yep. That's the original Freezer. That's not when the Freezer came back around in the game again. But that is when it first came out. Now, if I remember correctly, that gun... Is that the really heavy-hitting magic gun? Oh, I'm not remembering the name of it. I hope he uses it because I want to see it. I know what gun that is. I think it's the one that the Hood used. Alright, so Thing's doing a really good job against Mockingbird. Obviously Phoenix is going to use her blaster strength against Ares over here. He's firing really, really well against Ares, and he can't bleed, which is another thing where he's good against Ares. So this match so far really does favor what I was doing with Thing. Oh, come on, use that gun. I know I farmed for that gun for a long time. It's not the custom only for killing, which is the yellow one. That's the MODOK one. I farmed for that one for a while and did wind up getting it. Oh, there's that Ki shout from the trench that I'm wearing. If she goes blaster against Thing, that's where it's going to be bad. So far, so good. Crap! What is that gun? Oh, man. I hope he uses it. So far, though, he hasn't really been doing it. So, yeah, Ares is really going to get shit on here at some point, because Thing is just going to be taking everything that Ares throws at the team, and he's just eventually going to get whittled down by everybody going, and there's Crush Your Enemies, there's the stun. My agent didn't get a stun because of the Void Shield, so it's essentially he's protected, but Phoenix did. No, not the... Alright, so there's a retractable claw. Your feral stance. The retractable claw, I do believe, is one of the things that was used as a basis for the toolkit. Remember that one when we were all building that and had the holographic shields and the web slinger and the feral claw part. And now here, I just removed Phoenix's stun by getting the void shield on her. And Mockingbird getting tactical strikes, but now she just lost a buff because she hit Phoenix with a void shield up. So this was... I liked the MK cell set back in the day. The Stalker was one of the most unique guns the game ever produced. There was really nothing like the Stalker in the game before then, or after for that fact. It essentially tagged your target with a debuff that says anytime this character attacks, whoever he attacks, people counterattack it. And it was a very, very interesting weapon. And the Void Shield was pretty good as a shield, but it also kind of acts like a Scroll of Angelob, so it was really good. And at the time, you could run one of the power cells and the Void Shield, and then another power cell, and the Stalker gun. But man, alright, time to go. It's time to do a little bit of investigation, because I know that gun, and it's just gonna eat me up inside until I know what that gun is. And I'm pretty sure it's that, like, magic one that was, like, the Hood used. No, not golden gear, not premium gear. I think we're gonna go with mission gear. Oh, let's see if we can find it. Normal mode, challenge mode. Where are you, Red Gun? You're a little ways in, but you weren't too far. I don't think it did Bane. But look at this nostalgia over here. There's Momentum Generator, which of course was based off of Juggernaut. Everybody remembers that. That was a very commonly farmed item, was that Momentum Generator. Along with the Power of 4. That. I don't even know if I wound up getting one of those. That's the one that sort of did the Scroll of Aknazak, where you got 4 turns and you burnt out and then you died. Oh, it's gonna be here somewhere. I know I'm getting close. Dark Sigil, I always thought that one was pretty cool. not too much that was typically farmed there. There's the Tyrant Blade, which made an appearance in a video. I always wanted to have the Tesseract simulation device do something good, but I never really... I did get it. I don't think I ever built anything around it. Holographic Shields was a common farm. No, it wasn't Season 2. This was some poor man stuff over here. The Smart Set was really very, very good until it got nerfed. And it never should have been, but it did. Wow. I can't find that stupid red gun. Somebody go ahead and call me an idiot down in the comments and tell me what that gun was, because I know I've seen it and I know I'm very, very close to remembering exactly what it was. I remember these enhancers and augmenters. They were somewhat useful. This is that revolver which we were just talking about in Discord a couple days ago. I remember farming some stuff from here. I had a ton of sharpshooter patches. God, I was swimming in those. The Dense Electric Tech Hammer was very good. The Chitter Chatter Box was very good. The Psychic Amplifier was very good. I think it even got nerfed at one point. The Flashy Gun and the Subtle Gun, I wanted it to do good things, but it was very underpowered. Here we have some of the stuff later in the game. I kind of remember this stuff, including the Mental Manipulator, which is like a poor man's Pesty, if I remember correctly. I think the Strife maybe got nerfed. Cosmic Shielding, of course, was the thing that caused the completely... Oh, maybe it's under... There it is. I knew it. It was that Possessed Pistol, which did possess... That was the big thing about it. That's why that gun was so powerful and important at the time, was that Possessed. Devastates defense and evasion, and also hit hard. Yeah, I knew I was going to get there eventually. And of course the custom only for killing was very, very good. Spitting Viper was decent. The power supply, the Revolt, so that's the Smart Set stuff right there. I had a lot of those gauntlets. I think I remember farming for the Powerful Call for a long time. I had a ton of Goblin Masks. This Hardened Wakandan Rungu was really, really good when the Hugin's Eye came out because of Staggered. It meant you could get it so that your attacks would actually land and hit at the time. This is the one that did Shell Shocked, if I remember correctly. Oh no, this is the one that continued to the belt-fed ammo. There was one of these that looked like the Vickers machine gun, and it did that Shell Shock debuff, which was overpowered for a long time, and they had to take that away because of that. Eye on the Prize was cool, somewhat used a little bit. Is it the Restored Machine Pistol? Was this the one that did it? Yeah, there it is, Shell Shocked. This got changed at one point because that was a very, very strong debuff that caused a lot of issues, although at the time there were definitely more powerful things. That Uter Pendragon I think I farmed for. The Blind Justice I liked. That was a fun weapon over there. Did farm for that. Custom only killing. The Glass Tan, I think I remember being very happy when I got this. Let me find out why. Oh, the Ethereal. I was very happy when I got that because I didn't have a Sinister Scepter at the time. Third Law Nullifier, Deploy Drop Gear. So yeah, that's basically the bottom of the list. Custom Possessed Pistol. I'm surprised that agent never wound up getting to use that in that video, because that would have been pretty damn painful. So there you go, guys. Let's wonder what happened to Kingfisher's channel over there. I wonder why all the videos essentially went private. I believe that's a sign that they went private, because it's not saying that the videos were removed from YouTube. It's just saying content unavailable, which to me seems to be a sign you just put everything public, and hopefully it's not a sign of something worse. It's just maybe they deciding to pull back from social media or something over there. So we've got a couple other videos that showed up. And I think the guy that did, so Sniper, I think this is the guy who did his intros and everything. And I tried to get a logo myself at the time and have somebody do it, but they were always ridiculously busy, so I never got it. I wound up not exactly doing my own logo. I was a huge member of XDA at the time, and I had one of the people who did signatures for free. I had them generate a thumbnail that I used on XDA and then moved over to YouTube. So there you go, guys. Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux is still trucking along. We had Alpha 4 come out recently. It has highlighted a bunch of bugs that Goofy is working on. There are some people who had issues with that alpha where previously it would run on their computers and then all of a sudden it's been slow. There was a patch for that immediately. He patched it pretty quickly. There's also some people, both Mac and Windows, where they are having some issues with all of a sudden the game basically saying, where's Air? Like, give me Adobe Air to run, and that's surprising because we don't exactly know why that is happening, but that should be fixed going forward. I don't know if that will continue to be a requirement, but the Mac users definitely seem to be the most affected because the ways that they could play the SWF, which is the Shockwave file, because Macs don't run Windows executables, that has taken a bit of a hit. And somebody said they were loading it up on their phone through something called WebGenie. And it's like, guys, so I loaded up the alpha through WebGenie, it starts to load, and then it dies. I'm like, I basically replied to the guy. I was like, you took a microwave, you strapped it to the back of your car, converted the voltage, and then drove it to Best Buy and says, why doesn't my microwave work? Like, whatever you're doing over here of taking the Windows-based files and then getting them on a phone and doing something called WebGenie, which when I looked for it online, I sort of didn't really get any workable hits as to what this guy was doing. I'm like, dude, you're talking crazy talk. Would you just please run it on Windows? So there you go, guys. If anybody's had contact with Kingfisher lately, like, let us know. Let us know if he's doing okay. See you, everybody.